Ready? Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Good to go.
Okay, so hi everyone. I've seen a few of you guys before earlier this week, and I've probably, when I've met with you guys, I've probably had this conversation with you, and I brought up application tracking systems. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of go in a bit more depth, and also give you guys some recommendations on how you can make your resume application tracking systems ready. So today's agenda, we will be going over what is an application tracking system, how can I get my resume ATS ready, resume versus job description comparison, which would be an interactive thing that we'll be doing so that you guys can look at your resume and the job description and seeing if it is, if your resume is matching what the job is looking for. We'll be going over how to manage your resumes since you will be making edits to them. And then I will be recommending an actual ATS website that you can use if you don't want to be the actual ATS system yourself. There's a website that we will be going over and I will send to you guys to check out. And then finally, we will be concluding. So I wanted to start off this presentation with a quote by Jimmy Iovine. If you guys don't know who Jimmy Iovine is, but if you own Dre Beats, the headphones, you need to learn who he is. But he quoted saying, "The diploma you hold in your hands today is really just your learner's permit for the rest of the drive through life. Remember, you don't have to be smarter than the next person. All you have to do is be willing to work harder than the next person." And I want you guys to kind of think of this. And I know a lot of you guys have like exceptional degrees, and that's great, but you have to put in that extra work with data science and with applying into jobs. You might, think that you are smarter than the next person, but that next person probably will get the job if you're not putting in that extra effort. So again, I know it could be very frustrating. It could be a blow if you don't get the actual job. But if you continue to work hard and do what you have to do, you would see that end results. All right, so at this point, I would like for everybody to open up their resume for the presentation. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to do that. Reason being is that during the presentation, if you feel like you want to, mark something off, but also too later on in the presentation, we will be using your resume. So I'll give everybody a couple of seconds to get their resumes out. Okay, so I think you guys will have it out by now. So what is an application tracking system? So simply put, it's a system used to filter out applicants. They use bots to scan through resumes to see if you qualify. I don't know exactly how these bots look, but in my head, they're like gray with red beams and they're just scanning through. It is technically your first interview. And the reason why I say that is because they are the ones who are going to look, well, the bots are going to be the ones to scan through your resume before it's seen by an actual physical person. So think of it as your first interview. Think of it like you want to make the first, a great first impression to these bots, even though they're not real live things, so that it can actually be seen by a physical person. And it weeds out the unqualified applicants. Now you're probably like, oh, Courtney, how do they decide how a person's an unqualified applicant? And we'll get into that very shortly. So 98% of Fortune 500 companies use ATS systems. 66 of larger companies use them, so not those in the 500, Fortune 500, and then smaller businesses like our startups, about 35% use them. But it's a fairly used system for hiring managers, so it's definitely something that you want to focus on and think about when you are submitting your application. So how can I get my resume ATS ready? So the biggest thing is by using the job post. The job posting is almost like your cheat sheet. It's telling you what the company is missing in this role and what they're looking for. And they're asking you, per se, in a way, how can you fulfill this missing role? Ways that you can make your resume ATS ready is including soft skills, incorporate the action verbs that are used usually in the job posting, and think about what it is that the company is looking for. It's usually straightforward in the actual job posting. So soft skills. So I would like to ask you guys, what words would you use to describe a data scientist? And you guys can unmute yourself.
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
Team player.
Team player, okay.
Technically savvy.
Technical savvy, okay. I'm gonna come back to that one.
Curiosity.
Curiosity, yes.
Detail oriented.
Detail oriented, awesome.
Adaptable.
Adaptable, okay. I like that. Any other ones?
Good at coding, good at math, good at everything.
Yes. Thank you, Vivian. So
domain knowledge, business knowledge.
Yes. So I'm gonna go through some that I came up with. Well, I actually Googled them, honestly. So I inquisitive, detail oriented, like you said before, critical reasoning, creative, communicative, open-minded, and patient, problem solver. I think that's it. Oh, wait, let me go back. So here are just some of the words that describe what a data scientist is. And with
Courtney,
yes.
Can you send your presentation?
Yes, we will make sure.
Yes, most definitely. I would love to. I would love to. So with your soft skills, right? You want to be able to make sure it's maneuvered in your resume, but also in your cover letter too. So maybe in your skills section, and this is usually with most of you guys, you don't have like your soft skills in your skills section, which is fine. But if you probably have it in your summary and your bullet points that describes what it is that you did in the job. So making sure that these types of terms are used in your resume, in your cover letter. Doug, you brought up tech savvy. The reason why I wouldn't say tech savvy is because that's kind of considered a not a slang term. I forget what it's exactly called, but it's kind of like a slang term. So I wouldn't say tech savvy, maybe technologically efficient, and other ways to say tech savvy, but not tech savvy. And we'll actually go over that when we go to the ATS system website. They'll tell you what kind of terms that you should and shouldn't use, and we'll go through that. So I have another something else I would like for you guys to participate in. This is an actual job posting for Viacom for Showtime. They're looking for a data analyst. So I'm going to give you guys like 1 minute. I would like for you guys to scan through this actual job posting and see what action verbs you are able to pick up on. So I'm gonna start the minute now. Okay, I think give you guys a couple more seconds. Okay, so who would like to share what action verbs they found in this job posting? Can everybody see this job posting by any chance? I can open it if you guys want to. I'm sorry, I should have asked that beforehand. Can everybody see it?
Yep. Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, good. Anyone wants to share any of the action verbs that jumped out to them while reading this job posting?
Interact and implement.
Great. Okay.
Query and manipulate.
Okay. Not really. Well, queried. Yeah. Manipulated. Yeah. Any other ones?
Interact
Model.
with other teams.
Interact with you. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I said interact. I mean, I can't read the whole thing, but I can see that they want you to interact with other people.
Right. So like collaborating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Any other ones?
Extract data, model, and optimize.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Any other ones?
Utilize.
Yes. Designed, set up, measured. So great, awesome. So you guys caught on to some action verbs. So you want to make sure when you are customizing your resume that you're using some of these terminologies in the action verbs that are in the job posting in your resume. Maybe it's already in there. Maybe there's some that you would like to add based on what you're reading from the job description. So that's just something to keep in mind when before you submit it, to make sure that your application is ATS ready. So ask yourself these questions. What are the stated requirements and skills required for this job position? Does your resume reflect the job posting requirements? What changes would you make on your resume, if any? Maybe it's, you feel like it'll go past the ATS and past the bots, and the bots will send it to the actual person. Sometimes you're like, okay, maybe I need to tweak it a bit so that it could, stand out among the other candidates that are applying. So this is the interactive part. Any questions so far? Everybody's fine? I was going to wait for questions towards the end. If anybody has any questions, please hold off to the end so I can actually see you guys. So everybody should have their resume open. I would like for you guys to select the position that you would be interested in, whether it's data scientist or data analyst. And sidebar, these jobs are actually currently live. When I had posted them, they were about a few days old. So at this point, they should be about 5 days old. One is a KPMG data scientist role that's available. Another one is a data analyst that's on LinkedIn. I forget exactly what company that one's for. So I'm going to give everybody 5 minutes, and I want you to become the ATS system that we're trying to practice with our resume. So look at your resume, look at the job description, and then we'll share what findings we had, and if there would be any changes you would make. Okay, so 5 minutes.
Buddy, how can we get to the links?
Oh, sorry. Thank you, David. Let me copy. Where are you guys? So this is for the data analyst. And this is for the data scientist. I forgot I had to send this to you guys. I told myself when I was practicing that I would do that. So yeah, the first one is the data analyst, and the second one is the data scientist role.
I think the analyst one is no longer available.
No. Okay, so everybody just pick the data scientist one for now, and hopefully the next time I can find another one. Sorry about that.
By the way, we have a lot of alumni working at American Express.
I saw that. That was cool.
Courtney, can you bring up this KPMG position?
Sure. We got two. We got less than 2 minutes. All right, 1 more minute. Okay. All right, so that's been 5 minutes. So would anybody like to share some of their findings when going through this KPMG data scientist optimization role?
There are a lot of words there that I should probably have on my resume, which I don't.
Which words do you feel like you need to add to your resume? If you were
like data cleaning, data imputation, feature engineering. I mean, we've done all of those in the boot camp, but I don't have them in my resume.
And honestly, that's why I like job postings too, because sometimes you've actually done these things, but sometimes you don't realize that you didn't mention it, or you don't realize that's the name or the category that it fits in. So job postings are very, very helpful. Sometimes they can help you fill in those gaps and things that you would like to add into your jobs. Even in, the future when you're trying to figure out and you're adding, like say for instance, if you work at KPMG and you can't really remember exactly what you did in that role, I always recommend people going to that website or finding something similar in that position and scanning it. And maybe sometimes it generates in your head like, oh, actually I did do this in this role. I'll add this into my resume. So I really love job descriptions. I think they're extremely, extremely helpful. But thank you for sharing that with us. Anybody else would like to share something that they found in this job posting that they would add to their resume, or maybe not? Maybe they feel like their resume is great for this position and they should submit now and add it to their spreadsheet.
So I want to share something. I like usually to write, if I don't have a lot of space, I like to write to the point and very brief descriptions. But then I realized I missed some of the words that I could be using. Like, for example, I used predictive models to prove blah, blah, blah. And I can, like, from the description, I can use developed and employed predictive models. So just little changes that really, this is what I did anyway, so it wouldn't.
Right. And that's another thing. So sometimes we might use a specific language that the job posting doesn't have. You should always gear your resume to the language that's used in the job posting, because with ATS, that's what they're going to look for. Another thing to stay away from is abbreviations. So for instance, I've seen before in resumes, ML. And I explained to the person, don't put ML. I know you mean machine learning, but if a bot is scanning it, they're going to go past what the ML part. They're not going to read it as as machine learning. They're going to read it as ML. So it's important not to put abbreviations in your resume as well, and use the language that is used in the job posting as well, because that'll pick up in the ATS system. Thank you for sharing that, Gabriella. Anybody else want to share something? Any findings they had? Anything, any recommendations? No? Okay, so let's continue on. There we go. Okay. So managing different versions of your resume. So with you, well, first off, let me just explain the first bullet point. There's a difference between customizing your resume for a particular job and creating an entirely new resume. You are only customizing your resume. We worked together for the past 3 weeks. Your resumes is very good. I would not create an entirely different resume from what you guys have with you right now. You will have to tweak it so that it can be ATS ready in relations to the job that you are applying to. But do not, this is not me telling you guys, okay, the last 3 weeks that we were working together, scrap all that, create a new, no. You're just going to customize and edit your resume with what you have. Do not create an entirely new resume. Keep a version of your resume related to the desired industry or the position you're applying for. Maybe you want to have a resume geared to just financial positions, because you notice as you're applying to financial jobs, they kind of use the same terminologies and they all require the same thing as a data scientist. An example of a position resume, maybe you're only interested in data scientist roles opposed to data analyst. And as you're applying to jobs, you're seeing similar needs for each position. So you're just going to have a data scientist. However you do it, just make sure that, and which is the next bullet point, that you keep your resumes in the same file in order to keep up with the resumes that you have. And then if it's a resume that you're no longer using, scrap it, throw it out. Just so that it doesn't create confusion for yourself in the future when you are submitting your resume. All right, so this is the website. So JobScan is a ATS system website, and I'm going to click on it. And I'm actually going to share it with you guys now, and I would love for you guys to keep it. Excuse me. So JobScan is a website. It's very helpful. They not only help with resumes, they help with cover letters, LinkedIn as well. You can sign up for them. And on this website, it goes into more details of what I just presented to you guys. But if you go to this website and you scroll all the way down, here it goes. They have they actually allow you to put your resume in the job description that you're looking for, and then they'll actually scan it for you and let you know the findings. So I'm going to do the sample, and I wasn't able to read to you the sample, but this is how it will come up. It'll let you know the match rate at the very top. So whichever job position they posted, it was only a 55%. It'll tell you add more missing skills, which is indicated by X, into your resume to increase your match rate to 80% or above. So you want to get it above the 80% range. So it'll tell you the ATS findings, and they'll explain to you exactly what it is that they would like for you to do when you go through this top list here. It'll tell you the skills and keywords. You are missing 3 important high value skills on your resume. It'll tell you if the job title matches with what you're applying to and what your resume is showing. Education, it'll let you know all that stuff. There was a part, where is it? Let me keep scrolling. Words to avoid. Douglas, we were talking about that. It says that negative phrases or cliches, that's the term I was looking for, not slang. Cliche and negative phrases that you're using, but it will pick up on this through JobScan and let you know, okay, maybe you want to tweak it. Maybe instead of saying team player, you say collaborated, instead of using those type of terms. It'll tell you about the page size, the fonts, because scanning also will let you know if it's legible, like reading it was legible for the bots. And then it will continue on with additional information as well down here. So I highly recommend this. If you don't want to be your own ATS system and you're just curious, like, okay, what are the bots saying on JobScan? This is a great tool for you guys to use to check if your resume, especially if it's a job that you really, 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 really want. Definitely I would use this website to compare my resume to the desired job and see what it is I can fix and tweak up. Okay. All right, so conclusion. Always make sure your resume matches what the company is looking for in the vacancy. It's very important. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you're not telling the company that I'm the missing piece of the puzzle, you won't get the job. Incorporate soft skills into your resume. Include the action verbs that are mentioned in the job posting. You should consider creating multiple target versions of your resume to be sure to save and store. Be sure to save and store correctly. This will not guarantee. It will not guarantee you to get an interview, but it does increase your chances. So I don't want you guys to be like, well, Courtney, I did it and I still didn't get called for an interview. Again, I have no control over who gets interviews or not, but I know that this is what works. It actually makes sense if you think about it. If you sit back and think about it, you want to make sure that you're the missing piece of the puzzle for the company. And that's all, guys. Any questions? I think my computer's frozen. So any questions, guys?
No,